Chapter 757, Meet with his manager. Liu Che compiled a new list of male candidates and placed them on Mo Ting's desk. He also placed the ones that he personally thought were the most suitable on top. While selecting these actors, I came across one that is slightly arrogant, but has decent acting. His name is Huang Fushuo. He looks like a typical rich heir type and is similar to the type of actor we are after. Although he is quite reckless, he has never made any major mistakes. Perhaps we can train him a little. Most importantly, he is quite an interesting character. Mo Ting flipped open Huang Fushuo's portfolio and asked Liu Che, "Have you contacted him?" "Yes, I have." His manager said he is currently having a break, but he is ready to commence work at any time. Liu Che nodded. "Let me see his previous works and help me find more information on him." "It's best if you be as comprehensive as possible," Mo Ting instructed in a deep voice as he threw aside the portfolio. "I've already made preparations. His information is on your left. You can take a look at it when you have time. Most importantly, this actor isn't easy to invite. If the president acts on it personally, I'm sure you will be able to succeed." In some respects, Liu Che quite liked Huang Fushuo's unrestrained character. This male artist simply relied on his talent to survive and didn't have much of an ambition. But, whenever he was working, he was extremely dedicated to his work. The only problem was, he was quite flirtatious and often tried to gain cheap verbal pleasure from actresses. Liu Che had seen a few of Huang Fushuo's interviews. They were generally good and did not humiliate his identity as an actor. But, most importantly, he had a complex relationship with Beiyu. He is indeed interesting. Huang Fushuo has no faults. Everything he does depends on his mood. He hates it when people try to flatter him and prefers the excitement of a challenge. Liu Che explained seriously. "Meet with his manager and discuss our cooperation. Most importantly, arrange an audition for Huang Fushuo." Mo Ting had heard of this actor. He was often involved with scandalous gossip, but it never scared him. He simply continued minding his own business in the industry. But, he did have one notable feature: his approach to acting. His professionalism was no less than any of the big-name actors. Of course, if Hairui wanted to use an actor like this, it was quite a big risk. One wrong move and the entire production would fall apart. But, who are they dealing with? He was Mo Ting. As long as he was in the industry, there was nothing he couldn't control. "Have you guys heard that the forensic concubine still hasn't found a male lead yet?" The crew of A Concubine gossiped during their spare time, but, their tone obviously showed that they were taking pleasure in others' misfortune. After all, they were competitors and Tang Ning had rejected them in front of everyone. So, due to their childish nature, they couldn't help but laugh as soon as they heard that the progress of the forensic concubine was at a standstill. After insulting someone, she deserves retribution. This is what you call karma. Tang Ning is so arrogant. Let's see what she'll do this time. I heard both male lead candidates rejected the role. How satisfying. How could a rubbish production like that be compared to us? As Beiyu finished filming, she overheard the staff gossiping and couldn't help but smile. This was exactly her intent. Afterwards, Beiyu and her assistant left the studio and returned to the hotel organized by the crew. But, when she thought about how she previously yelled at her sister, she decided to give her a phone call to apologize. But, unexpectedly, the person to pick up the phone was a man. "Who are you?" On the other side of the phone, as soon as the man heard Beiyu's voice, he immediately hung up. Beiyu thought it was a man that Bei Linlin had met while fooling around, so she called again. "She's absolutely hopeless." "Yuji, don't be angry. Linlin is still small." Beiyu returned disappointedly to her hotel room without having any suspicions towards the male voice that was on Bei Linlin's phone. After having a shower, Beiyu gave her husband a phone call. The couple said good night to each other as usual and Beiyu quickly fell asleep afterwards. But, she had no idea that the man she trusted with all her heart, was currently heading to a hotel with his arms around her drunk sister. "Brother-in-law, you're so handsome." Brother-in-law. Bei Linlin wasn't in her right mind, but her subconscious still knew who she was with. The man leaned Bei Linlin against his shoulder. After pulling out the room card, he helped Bei Linlin into the room and placed her on the bed. "Linlin, do you like me?" Bei Linlin wrapped her arm around the man's neck and laughed out loud. "Yes, I like you. But, I don't like it when you are nice to my sister. How about I treat you nice from now on?" the man asked seductively. "Okay." Bei Linlin nodded. But, after realizing the man's true intent, she lay frozen in bed, unable to move. As they looked into each other's eyes, the man suddenly stopped and asked patiently, "Why don't you give yourself to brother-in-law? From now on, I'll only be nice to you. But, if you're not willing, we can pretend nothing happened and I'll immediately send you home." Bei Linlin's mind turned blank. Her heart raced thinking about the words that the brother-in-law she admired had suddenly said. How was she to still consider whether he was her sister's husband or not? So she threw herself directly into his arms. As a result, the couple crossed the line. They ended up spending an intimate night in the hotel, completely disregarding Beiyu's existence. The next morning, Tangning found out through Lu Che that Moting had arranged for Huang Fushuo to attend an audition. Although she felt it was quite a shame, she respected Moting's decision and decided to go check out Huang Fushuo's acting. Moting looked at Tangning, who remained quiet throughout breakfast and knew what she was hoping for. But, he had to first get rid of all obstacles in their way. "You didn't eat much for breakfast. How is that nutritious enough?" Tangning shook her head and refused to eat. "The weather is too hot. I don't have much of an appetite." "Are you wondering why I decided to choose Huang Fushuo and not myself?" "No," Tangning denied. "You will know the reason later on." Moting did not explain things clearly, but he had a plan. "I'm going to go feed the babies breakfast." Tangning nodded. She had complete trust in Moting. Even though Moting didn't say it, Tangning had a rough idea. After all, Moting never did things ambiguously. This husband of hers never kept secrets from her. Moreover, Moting was an outstanding decision maker. Moting patted Tangning gently on the head and stood up to look at the babies. Afterwards, he left for work. Huang Fushuo was to visit Hyrule today. He did indeed have the intention to sign a contract with Huang Fushuo, but he did not intend for him to be male lead. To prevent the same situation that happened with Longxing and Lu Yiling from happening again, it was necessary to create an illusion. Chapter 758, President Mo's Revenge. "President Mo, are you asking me to play the secondary character?" Wang Fushao asked in disbelief as he pointed to himself while sitting in Hyrua's meeting room. "Me, secondary? I've seen your previous works. Giving you this role is a decision I came to after analyzing your acting ability," Moting said with an attitude befitting of the king of entertainment as he negotiated with Wang Fushao. "You may have played a male lead before, but do you honestly think you were up to standard?" "President Mo, everyone in the industry knows that I, young Master Wang Fu, will only act based on my mood. I'm not used to the way you're talking to me." Wang Fushao was a handsome man. He had the type of look that drew people in with one glance. But, a quick change in his appearance and he'd give off a completely different vibe. It was evident how flexible he was. However, his attitude, "I don't want to play this rubbish." "You debuted at 17 years old. At that time, you were still a good little boy. But, because of underhanded schemes, you suffered a lot of setbacks. At that time, there was a woman that gave you a lot of encouragement. However, she ended up abandoning you in the end. So, from that moment on, you created an image of a player for yourself. Aren't you curious why she abandoned you?" After Wang Fushao heard this, he immediately put away his casual attitude and became slightly angered. "I see that Hyrule likes to dig up other people's private matters. She ended up in a relationship with a singer. But, that singer only had a small moment of fame and was quickly unheard of again. So, she had an abortion, flew overseas and ended up marrying a slightly famous actor in Hollywood." "How ruthless!" Wang Fushao scoffed. "I've looked at your audition. It's really good. So, are you going to sign with us or not?" Moting changed the subject calmly. "I know you actually want to question her and attract her attention. That's why you act so seriously. But, unfortunately, her status is too high and you can't reach her. Hyrule is giving you a chance if we announce that you have newly joined the cast of A the Forensic Concubine. I can guarantee that Beiyu will look at you in a different light. Do you think that I would want that?" Wang Fushao sneered. "You may not want that, but you can always transform in front of her and make her feel regret." Can we really achieve what you've said? I'm sure you must know that Bayu has been openly trying to go against my wife, Moting said straightforwardly. How do you think she would feel if she found out that the lover she once abandoned ended up acting with her enemy? That would be super satisfying. Wang Fushao was tempted. Although he had already matured a lot, there was nothing wrong with being childish every once in a while. What else can I say? Of course I'll sign with you. I wish for an enjoyable cooperation, President Mo. Wang Fushao returned to his usual casual attitude. Tang Ning had encountered a lot in the past, but the best way to describe Wang Fushao would be to say that everyone had secrets that they couldn't talk about. And these secrets were like thorns, embedded deep within their hearts. One may disregard these thorns as being small and insignificant, unable to cause much damage. But, as soon as someone touched them, the pain would be unbearable. Some people, for example, Tang Ning, would end up being cured by others. But, the majority would continue to carry this burden with them. I heard you already signed a contract with Wang Fushao, is that right? Tang Ning asked during dinner. Have you already confirmed? Moting nodded. Tang Ning lowered her head. This was perhaps the first time that Moting made a decision without first consulting her. But, I don't think Wang Fushao can handle the male lead. It's not his scandals that I'm worried about, I'm concerned about his acting. Although Tang Ning tried to control herself, she couldn't help but speak her mind. Don't you think you've made this decision too recklessly? As soon as Moting heard this, he stopped eating and pulled Tang Ning towards him, placing her on his lap. Did you think you're the only one that knows that and I'm oblivious to it all? It's because I know that he's not up to standard. That's why I merely signed him for the secondary character. Silly. The secondary character? Tang Ning finally responded after being shocked for a while. I chose him because he was Bayu's first love and was abandoned by her. Since Bayu is so arrogant, let's see if she is shameless enough to approach Wang Fushao, Moting said in an extremely vengeful tone. This was Moting, the black-bellied Moting. As long as someone tried to bully Tang Ning, he would find a way to strike back at them. Even though, this time, Lu Che was the actual one that deserved credit. In an instant, Tang Ning understood Moting's intention and pinched him on the thigh. I really don't know what to do about you. In that case, what's happening with the male lead? For an important character like that, the mystery will be revealed at the end. Fine. You are killing me with anticipation. After she was done talking, Tang Ning wanted to stand up, but Moting hugged her tightly around the waist and pleaded in a low voice, don't go. Huh? Tang Ning was puzzled. I don't think I've made love to you on a dining table before, have I? Moting said as he lifted his handsome face. This time, Tang Ning was truly shocked. I've already paid you back for all that I owed. Number. It's my turn to pay you back, Moting said before he placed Tang Ning on top of the dining table, ignoring everything else. At this moment, all he wanted to do was connect with Tang Ning to the depths of her soul. He wondered how such a mysterious woman existed in this world. A woman that made him love her more by the day, a woman that he wanted to possess more and more. The next day, at the forensic concubine officially had a new member and Wang Fushao was confirmed as this strong addition to the cast. However, Hairui did not announce which character he'd be playing. So, the public couldn't help but speculate that he'd be playing the role of male lead. The fans of the novel didn't know whether to agree or disagree. They couldn't completely disagree because Wang Fushao was extremely handsome, he looked good in ancient costume and, most importantly, his acting was decent. But, they also couldn't agree because he had too many scandals. However, even though he had a lot of relationships, he wasn't the promiscuous type. As soon as the news was released, the most shocked, of course, weren't the fans. After all, Moting's aim was not to attack the fans, but to attack Bayu. So, as expected, Bayu's face turned pale as soon as she read about it. If she hadn't seen his name with her own eyes, she probably would have forgotten that she had a history with this man. Did Hairui actually get Wang Fushao to play their male lead? Wang Fushao, was he worthy? Bayu wondered if Hairui knew something. If not, why would they pick Wang Fushao out of all people? She had never admitted to her relationship with Wang Fushao. She was confident that if Wang Fushao remained relatively unknown, things would be easy to control. But, If he became famous and revealed that she had abandoned him for the sake of moving up in her career, then
hit the like, thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening.